in Tokyo. I wanna be big in Tokyo. Alright. Big in Tokyo. I wanna be big in Tokyo. Big in Tokyo. I wanna be big in Tokyo. Drink all the sake I want. Read all the manga I want.
It has been brought to my attention that there's just not enough Monogatari content on my channel, which is kind of unacceptable, me being a die-hard fan, and it's my favorite anime, Monogatari GOAT. So let's fix that, starting talking about my favorite arcs called episodes from my favorite anime and light novel series. So Monogatari. This Monogatari series has tons of arcs. The light novels and anime are both still ongoing with apparently no end in sight. The various anime and books are in a sense larger sagas consisting of the episodes that make them up. By which I mean this. So you have Nisei Monogatari, for example, essentially meaning fake or false story. It contains the episodes Karen B and Tsukiji Phoenix. Bake Monogatari, which means monster story or monster tale, consists of Hitagi Crab, Mayoi Snail, Sugura Monkey, Nadeko Snake, and Tsubasa Cats. So those episodes make up all of the Bake Monogatari. So you get the idea. I'm not talking about the overarching anime seasons or light novel volumes, but the specific episodes within them, the arcs. Beginning with Yotsugi Doll. This is a part of the Tsuki Monogatari series. I thought for the anime, they just made these 4 episodes really fun. From the snowball fight with Shinobu and Yotsugi in the background. I like seeing Kage Nui, she's really cool. I like how they kind of really showcase her curse, how she can't touch the ground, hopping on shit. I like seeing how this arc ties into Mayoi hell later on with Tadatsuri Teori. He was honestly not too interesting here, but he comes full circle later on, so I respect the foundation that they built for him here. Yotsugi is always a very interesting character in her own right, being who she is and what she is. This part for me, simply put, was fun. Never really got to read the light novel part of this, but eventually I will have it. Next would be Yomi Vamp. Aside from the events surrounding Princess Rolla and the long road of Kishot's adventures as a vampire, this is where it all begins. The event that changes the course of Koyomi's life forever. The spring break where he runs into the beautiful vampire and becomes one. He chooses to give up his life to save this transcendent, dying, out of this world, gorgeous vamp. But instead, she does not kill him, but as a result, he also becomes a vampire. He must retrieve various parts of her being from 3 powerful vampire hunters in order to turn him back into a human and make her whole again. This is where we meet Hanekawa Tsubasa in what I believe to be her best showing, because aside from her role in Kizu Monogatari, she is not the least bit interesting to me. Trash. I said it. Video coming soon on that. Oshino Meme makes his entrance here too, and I am personally a huge fan of his limited appearances throughout the series. The various fights were dope, especially in the movies, and the final showdown between Kishot and Koyomi is honestly mind-blowingly crazy. This part of the whole has the best action portions of the entire series, more or less. Kishot is my favorite character, and seeing her as the iron-blooded, hot-blooded, cold-blooded vampire and not just as Shinobu Oshino is a treat. Her vulnerabilities of being who she is, and ultimately the clash in ideals with her and Koyomi, which leads into a beautiful relationship, but not before he creates a situation where no one wins. Shinobu Time. This is the part of the series that made me legit cry the first time I watched it. This whole episode is special for a few reasons. Shinobu's tale of her journey. The more information I get about her, the better. And the ending of the arc. A mysterious darkness starts chasing Mayoi and Koyomi around. This entity freaks them out to their very being. It is not an oddity or an apparition. It's a phenomenon. One that Shinobu ran into when she was the king of apparitions. there was a sequence of coincidences that led a village into worshipping her as a goddess. She became a god, but she's not one. She's a vampire. In this town is also where she creates one of her two minions she ever made, but he died because the darkness came for her. So, to make a long story short, Mayoi is a lost snail and a ghost that's supposed to move on. Her very purpose as an oddity is not being fulfilled, and the darkness simply deletes oddities that do not do what they're supposed to be doing. Meaning Mayoi must move on to the afterlife and just stop existing. She decides to move on, and as she's fading, Koyomi and Mayoi do their little shtick one last time, which she doesn't complete. She instead kisses him and passes away. Man. The tears, man. It was sad as fuck. Sugura Devil. In the original series, that is the story of Araragi and his trials and tribulations along with his friends and foes, this is chronologically the last episode. This is excluding off-season, monster season. I know there's a time skip. This takes place in Hana Monogatari, where Sugura Kanbaru is the protagonist and the narrator. She's actually one of the best leads in the series. Following the events of this episode from her perspective is a treat and a welcome change of pace. Kanbaru is now a senior in high school, meaning Hatake and Koyomi have graduated, so she's already dealing with some loneliness off the bat. She then learns about someone called the Lord of the Devil taking requests, and after some mild investigation, her rainy devil arm is gone. After looking into it some more, she runs into her old basketball rival, Roka Numachi, who's collecting the parts of the rainy devil. I'm not going to cover all the story beats, I'm not here to recap, but I do want to talk about what I enjoyed specifically about this arc aside from Kanbaru being the protagonist. I love the final match where she has with Numachi and the resolution. I'm a huge fan of her running into Kaiki and Kaiki outspeeding her, something Kanbaru is famous for, running, and her athleticism. Their conversation at dinner where Kaiki is preaching about eating more meat is a hilarious scene. And I also like how long-haired Koyomi is reintroduced and how they interact in his car after he finds her sprawled out on the road. Side note, his hair is finally long enough to cover the vampire bite. Yaoi Jiangshi. Jiangshi? This is truly one of my favorite portions of the series. Shinobu and Koyomi grow so much closer during this arc in this segment, and you get to see how much Koyomi means to her. Koyomi decides to go back in time and save Mayoi on the day that she dies, but doing so created a parallel timeline separate from their own world, where Mayoi grows up and the world is destroyed. By who? Shinobu herself. Kiss shot, Eisorora Rayon Hato Ando Bureido. In the events of this timeline, Araragi Koyomi is killed by Black Hanekawa, and as a result, Kiss Shot destroys the world. It's crazy because the bleak, despair-filled hopelessness of this timeline. It's crazy. Actually get to see what Hachikuchi Mayoi would look like grown up. It worked. He saved her there. Or in this timeline, she's alive. She hands him a letter by Oshino Meme, who like a boss, proceeds to just write down exactly what happened and asks them to save this world too. They summon that version of Kiss Shot from this world and sees what the alternate possibility was if Araragi had lived, and that was enough for her. And it removes her will to kill and lets Shinobu take her blood, save the world, take them back to the original timeline, which caused more problems later on. But it's just a beautiful tale all in all. I love it, and it takes place in Kabuki Monogatari. Last but not least, Hitagi End. Sengoku Nadeko has become a snake god and plans on killing her beloved Koyomi Ni-chan by graduation. He's tried countless of times to save her and stop her with Shinobu, but they all fail, leaving him almost dead every time. Hitagi does the one thing I never thought she'd do, and turns to the very man that was the catalyst for destroying her entire family, Kaiki Deshu. And guess what? He's the narrator, the protagonist. Easily my favorite lead in the whole series because you can't even take everything he's saying as absolute truth. He's a liar. But actually seeing the world from his point of view is something I never thought the series would give us. He has an interesting mind. After agreeing to help them out for Kambadu's sake, he goes through one hell of an interesting con plan. The plan to con a god out of godhood. After a series of complicated and intricate planning and scheming, he ultimately almost fails until he forces her to choose between being a god or her dream, which is to be a mangaka. He does the impossible. Araragi shows up and he tells him, Araragi, to leave her alone. And then after a conversation with Hitagi, he leaves. It ends with him being attacked brutally by some kids he conned earlier in the story, and his fate is left ambiguous until Hana Monogatari. I think this part of the story holds the most stakes and is the episode with the highest need for success. Those are my favorite 6 arcs from the Monogatari series. What are your favorite arcs if you're a fan of the series? If you're not, start watching it before I slap you, and have a good day. Yeah!
They on the bus cause I'm a lit kid. They show me love cause I'm a lit kid.